the big debate. Southgate in or Southgate out? I really don't know. I honestly do not know. Obviously, you guys will probably be thinking, why didn't you release this on the night of the game? I just couldn't deal with the result. I just needed a few hours and to wake up in the morning just to get my thoughts around this. England 0, Denmark 1. England are now third. We were first in the group and now we're third. Am I angry about this? Yes. Am I upset about this? Yes. Did I expect it? 50-50. I sort of didn't want to expect it, but there was parts of me that think, well, hang on a minute. I kind of do expect to lose this game because Southgate puts out experimental sides whenever possible, but there's players in that squad that shouldn't be a part of the squad. One person in particular, and you guys know who I'm going to talk about, is the guy who played 31 minutes specifically, and didn't do anything but get 2 yellow cards and get sent off. Harry Maguire. That guy looks devoid of confidence. That guy looks devoid of confidence. That guy, and I saw this at the title of at the headline of a BBC Sport article on their app. He needs a break. He just needs a break. Don't play him against Newcastle for Manchester United. Do not play him, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He needs a break. After this, do you think Maguire's going to go into that Newcastle game with United with any form of confidence whatsoever? Absolutely no chance. And, you know, let's not get it twixt up here. England did have a couple of chances. There were a couple of chances that England could have scored. And to be fair, before the red card, England were actually on top. England were actually doing quite well for themselves until the red card. And then it got worse with the penalty. Was it a penalty? Was it not? To be perfectly honest, it's close. It is so close. You know, and there was a couple of refereeing decisions that were close and very, very, you know, on the edge of either one option. And I know that people are going to try and devoid England's performance and just blame it on the penalty. Was it a penalty or not? And I've seen some memes on social media. I've seen that, I think I saw one meme where there was a half and half picture where one half was the referee looking at the VAR screen off the pitch, and the other side was like a McDonald's menu or a Burger King menu. And it was like, what do refs see when they look at the screen? It's not VAR, it's just looking at McDonald's menu and say, we'll just say this, just have a look at this. What do you want after the match? Do you want fries with that? And, you know, it's I've got to laugh about it. I've got to laugh about it because after Denmark scored, it was just embarrassing. It was a very low-key game. Very low-key. And just like the Belgium game, I'm not doing individual player ratings, it's just an overall team rating. And I'm going to say it right now, I think the team gets a 5, to be perfectly honest. It could be less, it could even be less, it could be a 4, but I'm going to be generous and say a 5 because someone needs to be positive in this situation. But the big debate is after the match. Southgate in or Southgate out? And some of you may look at this and think, well, why are you saying this? And I'm going to say it for a reason. If Southgate gets embarrassed against Belgium, and I think minimum before the Euros, maximum if we get embarrassed in the World Cup in 2022, I think it's between that timeline where I think Southgate should go. Now, yeah, and to be fair, losing to Denmark, no disrespect to Denmark, because we've got some fantastic players, Braithwaite from Barcelona, Kasper Schmeichel, Christian Eriksen, you know, he was on the books of a loan deal out of Inter Milan because he wasn't really, you know, playing well for them. But, you know, they've got some really good players, so we're not going to rule Denmark out. But let's face it, they're not France, they're not Germany, they're not Belgium, they're not Brazil, they're not all these massive teams. You know, they're not the biggest side in the world nationally. We shouldn't be losing to Denmark. An England side on their best day with the players we've got should not be losing to Denmark. No disrespect to them, but we should be winning 2 or 3-1. And we didn't. We lost 1-0. And you could say, it was 1-0. We could have scored. It could have been a 1-1 draw and then Southgate would have been alright with it. Sorry, 1-0 is not good enough. 1-1 is not good enough. We should be winning against Denmark by 2 or 3-1 or 2 or 3-0 even if you want to keep a clean sheet. But there we go. But I mean, there's some big debates to take out of this. Reece James getting sent off as well after the final whistle. What's the referee thinking? Once you blow the final whistle, that's it. No more cards, no more thing. Take everything you can get. I don't know. Reece James should have kept his head cool. I'll look at both sides and say Reece James should have kept his head cool. Fair enough. But, you know, there shouldn't be a red card at the end of the final whistle. Come on. That's put Chelsea in all kinds of problems now. Obviously not as much as Man United because they've got an out-of-confidence Harry Maguire in defence now. And you know what's going to happen because the board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer. They're going to play Maguire and Lindelof at the back. We've got no Martial, no Cavani, no Bruno because he's going to be self-isolating because Cristiano Ronaldo's tested positive for COVID. So Bruno's out for about 4 games, self-isolating for 2 weeks. Martial is banned for 3 games for a ridiculous suspension because Lamella's an absolute tool and didn't get suspended as well. So Martial is suspended, but Lamella isn't. Okay, that's the refereeing quality in England nowadays. And Cavani's not self-isolating, so he's not playing until he plays his former club PSG against PSG in the Champions League for Man United. So they're out with Martial, Cavani, Bruno, and now they've got an out-of-confidence Harry Maguire that they're probably not going to drop because he is the captain of that team. I mean, it just gets worse for Man United, doesn't it? But from an England point of view, I'm sorry, Harry Maguire. I'm pretty sure you're a decent human being, but you need a break. You absolutely need a break. He's just getting played constantly, and you think he's going to go into that Newcastle game for Man United with any form of confidence this weekend? Absolutely no chance. Absolutely zilch, zero finito. Harry Maguire's got no confidence going into that Newcastle game. Especially with the game being last night, you know, on the Wednesday. I think Man United play on the Saturday. Thursday, Friday. That's 2 days in between the Wednesday and the Saturday to think. You got the rest of, obviously you got Saturday morning as well, don't forget. But 2.5 days just to think and try and get your confidence back up. What gives him any confidence when you've got a Man U side that doesn't get backed by pickpocketing American glazers, and you've got an England side that's just giving him no form of confidence, especially with losing to Denmark? Again, no disrespect to Denmark, you did well, but England shouldn't be losing to them, no matter how many good players they've got. So, what should England do now? Well, of course, this is the end of the international break, so you're not going to see a 3-lines report until the Belgium game in November, and we start playing those games again in November in the next international break. And then I think the next one's March, so it'll be November, and then there won't be another one till March. And then, you know, once the regular season's over, you'll see the 3-lines reports return for the Euros in June, July. So, you know, there's not long left of the internationals. So, yeah, and don't forget with the groups, I think it's only one. The winner goes through automatically. I think the winner goes through to the Nations League finals. So, you know, I think if England lose to Belgium, that's it. England's done. They're gone. And they won't be going to the next stage of the Nations League. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. So just to summarise then, just to finalise this whole, you know, video, I gave the team rating 5 out of 10. I was being generous. Could have been a 4. Because there were chances as well. Don't forget, there were chances. Mason Mount had a good chance in the first half. But, again, it just came down to not much moments in the second half either. But the big debate to sort of finalise this video. Southgate in or Southgate out? Like I said, it's all about the timeline for me. It's all about the specific timeline. If he gets embarrassed in the Euros and in the World Cup, Southgate's gone. But in my opinion, if he gets embarrassed in the Euros, never mind the World Cup, Southgate needs to go. Because if Southgate goes, if he gets embarrassed in the Euros, you've then got a brand new manager that's going to come in with a fresh new idea that's going to lead them into the World Cup. And that could give England a fresh form of confidence and give the inconsistent players a fresh form of confidence. So if Southgate does not deliver in the Euros, at least quarter-final or semi-final in the Euros, he's done. If he gets knocked out in the group stage, the round after that, if he gets knocked out before the semi-finals, out the door. It should be out the door. If he doesn't, then we've got to look at the FA and think, why are you not doing anything? So, you know, this is a crucial point now for England, because you've got to look at what they've done. Okay, they beat Belgium last time. Fair enough, that was a good win. But all that did was paper cracks, because Belgium were on top for some of that game. Definitely parts of that game. And good variety of points in that game. Belgium were on top. But they couldn't create chances because they were playing one ball over the top for large touch Lukaku. So, you know, Belgium weren't at the paces on that day. They caught them at a good moment, England. England caught Belgium at a bad moment, and Belgium caught England at a good moment, which works in favour for England and not Belgium. So you've got to look at that game and think we can take positives out of that. Going to Denmark, there we go. But we lose against Denmark. Okay, we face Belgium in November, beat them, we're back in the hunt for top 2. If we then lose to Iceland, it's done. It's absolutely done. If we lose to Iceland again, it's done. But we shouldn't lose to Iceland because we're England. Apparently we hype up our own league, so we should be the best team in the world, right? They've got to prove them right. So it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see what happens against Belgium and Iceland in November. But I'm also curious and I'm also cautious. So there we go. So thank you very much for watching the 3 Lions report. England 0, Denmark 1. And I'll be back with these in November when Belgium play. And of course Iceland play as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And for now, I am the CHALL, your Don Strovers fan for football content. Have a nice day. Come on, you Lions. Don't let me down in November.